and hello to everyone who's joining us today for this webinar on investment potential and opportunities in Balochistan. The Consulate General of Pakistan in Houston and Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade has partnered to bring you this webinar with the support of Jumpstart Pakistan and 92 Capital. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We have with us the Consul General of Pakistan in Houston, Mr. Abrar Hussain Hashmi, Chief Executive Officer of Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade, Mr. Farman Zirkon, Khurram Zubairi, the founder and CEO of Jumpstart Pakistan, and Jahangir Abbas Awan, the founder of 92 Capital from Pakistan. So to begin the proceedings of today's event, formally, I would request the Consul General of Pakistan, Mr. Abrar Hussain Hashmi, for his welcome remarks. Sir.
Good morning and good evening to those who are across the globe. Thank you very much, Shaista, for putting this up, and also Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade, Mr. Farman Zirkon, Mr. Khurram, and whole the team, and Mr. Saeed Sheikh. Basically, on a Labor Day, we are together. Sorry for this, and those who are joining us, thanks a lot that you've taken out time from your holiday. As you know, US is our top export destination, and Balochistan is the biggest province of Pakistan area-wise. So Pakistan and United States of America have registered a trade of 6.5 billion during 2019-20. And alongside investments are not much, they're just 97 million. That's where we can collaborate. We are also in GSP Plus, where anything which is manufactured in Pakistan in certain categories, certain tariff lines can be exported to United States of America in a preferential way. Alongside, we have also the trade in services, wherein Pakistan and United States of America have been together. And this year, the remittances from United States of America to Pakistan have registered an increase of almost 20%, wherein they have been almost $4.1 billion. So here we are, and the Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade has recently published a very comprehensive report, and I think Farman would be shedding light on it, wherein we will know as to what sectors, for example, the minerals, energy, livestock, fishery, coastal tourism, and medicine would be touched upon. Despite difficulties during COVID, Pakistan has registered an increase, a bounce back during the last month in July and August, last 2 months, in fact. So I welcome here all the guests, worthy guests, especially I thank Mr. Saeed Sheikh, who has been in touch with us, and Mr. Jensen Shen, who has joined us from, he's a Director Asia and Australian Oceania and Greater Houston Partnership. Mr. Tariq Chelik, he is the chairman, founder chairman, World Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Pusu Ganame, he is the president, West African Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Urhan Usman is president, Texas Turkish Chamber of Commerce. And in the next session, we will be joined by Mr. Murad Ajani, Mr. Nasr Rupani, Mr. Muhammad Saeed Sheikh would also be coming. And we might have Mr. I think one more guest would also be joining us. Alongside, I must say that this has been a very difficult time, wherein we all have been through the COVID and its after effects. We are adjusting, and it also has brought up new technologies, and wherein we are sitting. For example, Farman is in Quetta. We are here in Houston. Khurram is sitting somewhere in the West Coast. In the East Coast. So we all are together today, and many more have joined us from across the globe. Thank you very much. And I think from now, I've taken a lot of time. Khurram, would you like to say something? And then we will be going over to Farman.
Thank you, Abrar. I'm glad to, thanks for, first of all, inviting me over. And it's really glad to be here. I represent Jumpstart Pakistan. I'm the founder and the CEO of the organization. We founded this back in 2014, and the concept was that in order to actually fix any place, any country in the world, you would need to fix its problems. That's what it means. So if you fix the problems of that place, you fix the country. And with that approach, we said, what are the best ways to actually go about it, to go about doing or fixing the country? And when you actually fix the problems, that means you actually fix the problem through three different ways. So you actually assume power through the politics, and then you have certain sort of jurisdiction in which you can actually apply some rules, and through that you try to fix problems. And that's what usually happens around the world. But and the other one is the philanthropy. You pick up a problem and then you actually launch a nonprofit, and then people actually donate for that nonprofit, and then you try to actually fix it. In Pakistan, it has happened in case of ED, and we built the cancer hospital. That's one of the only hospital around the cancer hospital around the world which is actually serving people for free. But in our opinion, I think the best way to fix problems of Pakistan is through entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the only sustainable way around the globe through which you can actually fix the problem in a sustainable way. So the problem doesn't get unsolved, because you actually pick up a problem and then you build the business viable solution around it, and you try to launch it, and then ultimately it solves the problem, it creates the employment, and also it creates a new wealth which any developing country needs. So with that in mind, we actually launched Jumpstart Pakistan back in 2014, and up till now, in past 6 years, several investments has been made by the diaspora of Pakistan. We have about 35 chapters around the globe. Investment is the key. And usually we actually go for the, FDIs, but our approach is to not just the FDIs, but also invest in the startups and the SMEs. So we are looking into growing about 250 SMEs of Pakistan to 10x in next 3 to 5 years. And effectively what it means is that any SME, which is around $1 million revenue at this point in time, will scale it to 10x, which is about $10 million. And that would roughly create about $25 billion extra wealth for Pakistan. So we are using our diaspora around the globe in order to actually make sure that they bring in the investment, they bring in the global coverage, global market access, and also not just market access, but also the investment. The third thing is also we are working with about 50 universities of Pakistan in order to create that capacity building, because if company has about 50 employees and we're going to scale them to 10x with the simple math, it means that we need about 450 more people in order to scale it to 10x. So where those 450 people, skilled people, going to come from? The university is going to be producing those. So universities right now aren't teaching the right skill set. Some of them do, but many of them we are very closely working that they actually create that human resource what these SMEs and the startups need. And that's how Jumpstart Pakistan actually flourished over the time. Last couple of years, we have had some amazing conferences, which is Lift Pakistan. Lift stands for Learning, Innovation, Funding, and Technology, beside lifting the country itself. And through that, we have attracted about 150 people from overseas who participated physically and came to Pakistan last year and the year before. So through that, we are opening up Pakistan, and specifically now is going to be the Baluchistan. We're going to be talking about a lot that was sort of opportunities we have it. And I'm sure we're going to have like an amazing discussion today in terms of that, inshallah. So that's a quick brief about the Jumpstart Pakistan.
Thank you, Khurram Sahab. Thank you for that. Thank you, Consul General of Pakistan in Houston, Mr. Ibrahim Hussain Hashmi. Ladies and gentlemen, we have received several expressions of interest from our investors in the US, in our jurisdiction, and other parts of the country. People have been wanting to know about the investment incentives that the government is offering, and they have specific questions. we will formally invite the CEO of Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade, Mr. Farman Zirkoon, for his presentation, where he'll be covering in detail everything that you need to know as an investor. We will also leave you with the contact details of Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade and the Consulate General of Pakistan for any queries that you have later. You can get in touch with us, show us your interest, or express your concerns. Any question that you may have right now, you can post them on the comment section of Facebook and YouTube. We will be taking questions. We also have some questions already received. We will be taking them after the presentation of the CEO of Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade. Balochistan, ladies and gentlemen, is a blessed province of Pakistan, and it holds immense potential for the investors, domestic as well as international. So I'll leave it to Mr. Farman Zirkoon to cover it in detail for you. We thank you all once again for joining us. And as they say in Baluchi language, washatke, which means welcome. Farman Zirkoon Sab, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaista. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Respected Consul General Sir Ibrar Hashmi, Shaista, the moderator and our Trade and Investment Officer at the Consulate in Houston, Mr. Khurram Zubairi from the Jumpstart, Mr. Jahangir Ewan from Capital 92. I would like to thank you all for organizing this wonderful event and giving me this opportunity to present the investment potential and opportunities of Balochistan to the valuable participants of Pakistani diaspora as well as the international community. If Sir Ibrar, if you allow, we start with the presentation formally. First, I'll complete the presentation and then we'll have the question answer session.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, there was some technical issue. I'll just, Sir Ibrar already covered in his address a little bit over the overview of the Pakistan as well as the Balochistan. I'll go in a bit of a detail. In Pakistan, as we all know, we have Pakistani diaspora as well in the audiences, but for the sake of international community, I'll just go through certain details. We are one of the world's earliest and largest civilization. We date back to 6000 BC. We are proud to be home to the world's youngest Nobel Prize winner, Malala Yousafzai. The things have changed in Pakistan by the grace of God, and we have been declared as a top holiday destination for travelers for the 2020. It was by a study by the New York-based Condé Nast Traveler magazine. We're home to the world's second highest peak and the largest deep sea port. Just a brief overview of the Pakistan and US relations, which is one of the reasons that we're having this session, that because this signifies the potential that this relationship already has and the new heights that we can achieve through this relationship. US was among the first few countries that opened its embassy in Pakistan. It was the very next day with the Pakistan coming into existence, which is the 14th August was independence, and 15th August US opened its embassy. US is the Pakistan's largest export market, and last year our trade stood at around $6.5 billion. US is the largest source of FDI in Pakistan. That shows the confidence of the US investors in Pakistan overall. US houses more than 0.5 million Pakistani Americans and more than 8,000 Pakistani students. And we are the major US investments which are in Pakistan is in the consumer goods, chemicals, energy, you can say in almost every line of business. I'll cover each sector individually in the later part of my presentation. The Pakistan and the US signed the Trade and Investment Framework Agreement in 2003, which proved to be the basis for enhancing the cooperation between the two countries, especially in the field of investment and trade. There are more than 80 wholly or majority-owned US subsidiary firms already registered with the American Business Council and American Business Forum. That's an association of the American companies working in Pakistan. We have more than 100 plus companies in Pakistan which are representing US companies locally. And as like I mentioned in the previous slide as well, the overall trade was more than $6.5 billion in the last year, out of which the exports are around $4.4 billion and imports amounted to around $2.6 billion. These are some of the major US companies that are doing very well in Pakistan and have a strong presence in the market. Some sector-wise companies, if we talk about that, I took these figures from the American Business Council, showing that these are the sectors. We can say pretty much in every sector, there is presence of American companies in Pakistan, be it energy, be it financial sector, be it F&B, be it advertising or services or goods. In every sector almost there. Some trade statistics is the breakup of the number that I shared earlier of the $6.5 billion. So again, pretty much in every sector, there is a lot happening. I'll cover each sector in detail in the later part of the presentation, but this is just an overview to give you an idea. Before we go into the detail of the presentation, as the most basic question for every investor, for every business person, for coming into or investing into a country is the ease of doing business or the safety and security of the investment in that particular country. Pakistan was declared as among world's best 5 reforming countries. The present government took a lot of initiatives to reform the regulatory framework and to enhance the ease of doing business. You can see the rank that we improved. Jumped almost 26 positions in the ease of doing business index by the World Bank. Now I'll come to specifically to Baluchistan. Baluchistan is the largest province of Pakistan. It covers more than 44% landmass of the country. We have around 6 types of landscapes with mountains, uplands, desert, food plains, coastal plains. The Baluchistan makes for 73% coastline of the total coastline of country. It's around 720 kilometers. It's the same coastline which Gwadar is also there. And we have 2,200 kilometers of international borders which we share with Afghanistan and Iran. The diversity in Baluchistan can be assessed from the fact that we have 8 religions, 10 ethnicities, and 14 languages. We consider it as the cultural hub of Pakistan. The overall economy of Baluchistan is agriculture-driven economy. Our budget is development-driven budget. We have more than 30 foreign-owned companies already operational in Baluchistan. The business community is thriving. We have more than 5 functional chamber of commerce. These are the major chambers of commerce, and we have numerous small association and chambers as well. But last and not the least is it's the nucleus of the Pakistan-China economic corridor, which is an integral part of the One Belt, One Road initiative of the China. And infrastructure-wise, the overview of the Baluchistan is that we have more than 5,000 kilometers of highway network which already exists. We have 3 major international airports in addition to multiple small airports as well. We have more than 1,000 kilometer railway network, and a lot of more is happening in the railway sector that also I'll cover in later part presentation. We have the world's deepest seaport, Gwadar, and we have natural underground water as well. Talking about the regional connectivity, Baluchistan, this map shows the connectivity that the Baluchistan has. In the red, it can be seen the major airports, the international airports that are in the province. The blue ones show the domestic airports. It pretty much shows the connectivity, and we have on the left and the down part of the screen is the seaport that we have, and also the double dotted line shows the railway network. The blue line in the middle is if you can see the cursor, is basically the China-Pakistan economic corridor, the route basically it goes. It pretty much touches every part of the province, and it shows that how well connected the province is. CPEC is the game changer. It will link 3 billion people of Europe, Asia, and Africa It is adding more than 13,000 megawatt electricity in the system in the country. As the map on the map, it can be seen that the current position of the China and how the connectivity was in the past, and with the Gwadar. It's with the Gwadar in the south of Pakistan, how this will shorten the route which used to be in thousands of kilometers through South China Sea for access to the Middle East and the North Africa region. Now through Pakistan, this route will become like 1/5 of how it used to be. The total 3,218 kilometer long route is being built all the way from Kashgar, China, to the Gwadar in the south of Pakistan, Baluchistan. Under the CPEC, Baluchistan has completed multiple projects, and few of them are in the pipeline. We have completed and successfully started the around 3,000 megawatt coal power plant at the hub, Lasbela district in Baluchistan. We have a 300 megawatt coal-based power project coming up in Gwadar, and we have a 2,000 kilometer dual highway network that is being established under the CPEC. In addition, also the pilot project of the DTMB is also under development. More than $700 million have been allocated just for the projects within Gwadar. That's the reason we consider Baluchistan to be at the heart of the CPEC and Gwadar to be the gateway to the CPEC and overall. This map shows the highway network that is being built under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It's been divided into 3 different corridors. The one on the top is the northwestern corridor, and this is the one on the down the right. Red is the eastern corridor, and in the middle is the central corridor. So it can be seen, as it can be seen, these 3 corridors, all of them passing through Baluchistan. It enhances the overall connectivity. It increases the connectivity between all the areas within the Baluchistan. Just the overall investment regime and incentives that is prevailing in Pakistan. We have, as per the Pakistan law, 100% foreign ownership is allowed for the foreigners to have the ownership of the companies. 100% foreign ownership they can have. There is no restriction on foreign real estate development. There is no restriction on the profits repatriation or the dividends repatriation. We have bilateral investment treaties with more than 40 countries. There are guarantees in place against nationalization and expropriation. The custom duty and regime is very much investment friendly. That, like on agriculture, the custom duty is almost 0%, and there's huge scope in the agriculture sector that we'll cover in the left part of the presentation as well. And also, there is no restriction on the payment of the royalty and technical fee. That's one of the reasons the number of US brands are already existing in Pakistan. They're working in Pakistan, but there is no restriction for payment of royalty and technical fees. These are few of the trade agreements that Pakistan have with different countries. On the top, it can be seen the Pakistan-US Trade and Investment Framework Agreement, which I already mentioned. We have with a number of other countries. Afghan trade transit also is the Afghan trade that's coming in through Gwadar. Basically, it allows the duty-free to export to Afghanistan, which this opens up. The reason of having this slide is this shows that how it opens up the Central Asian market, not just Afghanistan, the whole Central Asian market to Pakistan via Baluchistan, basically. So it's a huge opportunity for companies to utilize all these markets. For around about the visa, we have for the US citizen, as is being done, arranged through the US consulate in Houston, and it's for specifically for the people in the USA. So I'm mentioning this business visa for the US citizen on arrival. We have it on for 30 days on arrival visa. We have a 5-year multiple entry business visa regime for the US citizens, and the visa processing time is just 2 to 3 days. The security situation. One of the main concerns of the investors, it has improved a lot. It's we have, as we all know, we are one of the best world's best army, and for the sake of the CPEC and investment, we have established a special CPEC security force of more than 12,000 personnel, and there is also a strong Frontier Corps force and the Foreign Investor Special Force for protecting the foreign investors. This shows the seriousness of the government towards protecting the interests of and the concerns of the investors. The state bank, the federal government, under the federal government, they have taken a lot of initiatives as well to facilitate, especially the Pakistani diaspora abroad. They have recently started the special convertible rupee account system for to facilitate the investment in the securities market. There is a special foreign currency account also allowed to facilitate the FDI inflow and to for the dividend and profit outflow. There are Roshan digital accounts, which is for the non-resident Pakistanis as well. This shows just few steps that for a foreign company to register in Pakistan. This shows how easy it is for a foreign company to enter Pakistan. It is just one written permission from the Federal Board of Investment. Our law allows the foreign companies to have branch offices and sub offices in Pakistan. It's just with first registration with the Board of Investment, and it's then after that it's less than 1 day process to register a company in Pakistan. This shows the SECP, which is our Securities Exchange Commission of Pakistan, the few steps, and the company is formed just within few days. As per the law, we have Foreign Private Investment Promotion and Protection Act 1976 in place, which basically ensures the avoidance of double taxation, the equal treatment for the foreign investors, the remittance by the foreign employers that's protected. Also, the repatriation facilities are covered under the law. For the institutional arrangement, we have a Federal Board of Investment, which deals with the federal subjects related to the visa, the different security clearances, and other permits and custom duties which are related to the federal subjects. We have a Federal Public-Private Partnership Body as well. And underneath that, we have within the provinces, every province has its own provincial board of investment. And for the one I'm representing now on the behalf of Baluchistan is the Baluchistan Board of Investment and Trade. We have within Baluchistan, we have sector-specific policies and plans already, most of them in place, some are being developed. We are working in close coordination with the international development agencies like World Bank, USAID, EU agencies, JICA, and others for improvement in the overall investment climate. We have achieved a lot of landmarks when it comes to the automation for the ease of doing business. We have already automated the provincial taxes regime, and we have a system coming which is in the Investor Facilitation and Business Center, and the Baluchistan Board of Investment is already providing one window operations for all the matters related to investment in the province. As the Baluchistan Board of Investment, we are based basically, the head office is in the Quetta, which is the capital city of the province. However, for the facilitation of the investors, we have a liaison office in Islamabad already, and we have a regional office coming up in Karachi that will be up very soon, inshallah, within a month's time. This basically is to ensure the facilitation is extended to the investors right from their arrival in Pakistan to then throughout the process of the establishing a business in Baluchistan as well. So there's one window facilitation, a single point contact, BBYT will facilitate you in every aspect. We have a provincial public-private partnership law in place, and it is a full functional authority in place. And we have, as you can see on your screens as well, almost every sector is covered as per our law. So there is the scope and the potential in every sector that I will highlight in the coming slides. But it shows that in every sector there is opportunity for the public-private partnership projects. And on the left of the part of the screen, you can see the types of the public-private partnership, the modes that can be opted for, and it pretty much covers everything. With the investment zones, we have Baluchistan is huge, as I mentioned earlier. It's almost half the landmass of the country. We already have 2 special economic zones approved for the Baluchistan. It falls under the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor regime. One is based in the hub, which is next to the biggest metropolitan of the country, the economic hub, Karachi, just less than 15 minutes drive from the Karachi International Airport even. One is at the Bostan Special Economic Zone. Basically, it is less than an hour distance from the Afghanistan border, and it's giving connectivity and exploring the opportunities for giving opportunity to explore the Afghan market and the Central Asian market. We have export processing zones in place at Sandak, which is a very rich area in fact from the minerals perspective. And also we have one at Dudar in the district Gwadar, where export processing zone is already in place. And we have the only free trade zone of the country that is in Gwadar. We have certain incentives for special economic zones and EPZs that I'll cover in the coming slides. The free trade zone Gwadar, it is exempted from all kind of duties, taxes, be it provincial, be it federal. For the special economic zones, we have this I'm particularly mentioning because this is one area where there's a lot of scope for investment. There are three modes for establishing a special economic zone. Right now, the two special economic zones established in Baluchistan are totally public owned. They are being established by the government. They will be managed by the government. However, our law has provision for the privately owned special economic zones as well. It works on the similar concept of the business parks and the industrial parks in the US. So this provision is there in the law. And also we have on the public-private partnership mode where the government of Baluchistan would provide land for the special economic zone, and the private investor then can develop and manage the special economic zone. Few incentives that the special economic zones offer as per the law. Under the SEZ regime, one-time exemption is given from all custom duties on capital goods imported. There's a 10-year exemption on all income from development and operations of SEZ. So as a developer of the special economic zone, if an investor wants to develop a private-owned special economic zone, or if they want to come in a PPP mode, establish it with the government, so they will have an exemption from all the custom duties as well as 10-year exemption from the income. And as an enterprise, for zone enterprises, to have an industry within the special economic zone, again, similar tax exemptions are offered, which is 10-year exemption on all income from business operations and one-time exemption for all custom duties on capital goods imported. The Baluchistan Special Economic Zone, like I mentioned earlier, it's just 100 kilometers, less than 100 kilometers away from the Afghanistan border. It's connected to the national motorway. It's connected to the CPEC Western Corridor. It has an area of more than 4 million square meters in the first phase. In the second phase, it will be expanded even further. It's just 20 kilometers from the Quetta International Airport, which is the Quetta capital city. And the hub special economic zone, both these zones are very strategically placed, basically on the completely opposite ends of the province. This hub special economic zones falls in the district Las Vela, which is just 23 kilometers away from the economic capital, the biggest metropolitan Karachi. It is next to the Las Vela industrial estate, which is there already since decades and has more than 100 plus operational units, basically. It shows the level of development that the region already has, the level of the skilled workforce that is available. It's just 14 kilometers from the national motorway and within just 30 minutes away from the Karachi International Airport. Coming to the Gwadar, it's the gateway to the Central Asia. It has the only free trade zone in the country. It offers tax holiday for 23 years. It offers 100% ownership for foreign investors. It already has world-class infrastructure and security in place. When they're ready to move, offices are even there. So if a company wants to come in, they just have to sign up and start their operations. There is one window operations in place, especially for the free trade zone in Gwadar. The leasing of plot in Gwadar is up to 99 years. And there's a special flexible visa regulations for investors coming into the free trade zone in Gwadar. There's 100% exemption on custom duties for construction and operation. Further, in the last Finance Act of the federal government, free trade zone has been exempted from all kind of duties, from all kind of taxes or fees, everything, including the provincial ones as well. And there are more than 40 companies that are already functional. Out of the 40, more than 20 are foreign companies that are working in Gwadar already. Export processing zones, as I mentioned, we have two in place already. One at Sendek, the Chaghi district for the copper and gold, basically, is the mineral specific export processing zone. And one is at Dudar, Puzar. It's a lead and zinc specific export processing zone. It also gives a lot of incentives and There's freedom from national import regulations, and there's domestic market available to the extent of 20%, but the 80% has to be exported. There are duty-free vehicles allowed and some other incentives, as you can see on your screen as well. So one of the most important point that basically I was told by the consulate as well to add it in the presentation, one of the queries that we get from most of the investors, especially the Pakistani diaspora abroad, the Baluchistan, the land lease policy of the government of Baluchistan. The government of Baluchistan, keeping in view the interest of the foreign investors, especially the Pakistani diaspora abroad, have enacted a special land lease policy for foreign investors. It was enacted in 2018. This policy assists in promoting the overall foreign investment, and there's a specialized committee to approve the allotment of the land to make the process more efficient. Only one NOC is required from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and after that, the land can be transferred to the foreign national on the lease basis for a initial period of 33 years, which again is then extendable. I'll now cover in depth the sectors, the priority sectors that which we think are the ready for investment, which we think are the low-hanging fruits of which the foreign investors can take advantage of. I'll start with the information technology, IT. We have Pakistan is focusing on the IT in the current government, and Pakistan, as it has declared, to spend more than 4 billion on the IT projects, and the IT and ITES export remittances in the last year were recorded at record of $1.2 billion. This shows the overall potential that the country has in the IT. We have a very low-cost skilled workforce of the IT available in Baluchistan as well. Baluchistan, the government of Pakistan launched its Digital Pakistan policy in 2018, which prioritized the areas including e-governance, e-agriculture, and e-commerce, etc. Where special technology zones are being established as per the present government vision. In the e-commerce industry, in the Pakistan's e-commerce industry is estimated to be around 100 billion Pak rupees in 2018 it was, and the year-on-year growth is estimated at 92%. Around 43% of Pakistanis use the smartphone, which shows the know-how that they have with IT and the equities they have with IC. We have multiple successful e-commerce businesses in Baluchistan also already. Which is Kareem, is just on the pattern of Uber, and we have the Daraz, the online shopping, just like the Amazon or the Alibaba, with the Food Panda and OLX and numerous. Even Amazon.com itself has established a company in Pakistan and starting their operations. Pakistan is ranked as 4th most popular country for freelancing by the Oxford Internet Institute. Pakistan is home to 9% of total freelancers, and we have more than 600 registered call centers in Pakistan. With English as the official language, it shows the ease with which the call centers can be run or outsourced to companies in Pakistan. Baluchistan also is a very lucrative market. We have a large population of technically sound students available. We have multiple IT universities that are a lot of graduates are coming out of those universities. We have, to encourage the IT sector, we already have established National Incubation Center at the Gwadar. It's on the public-private partnership mode. It has state-of-the-art facilities there, and a lot of startups are coming out of this incubation center. Few incentives for the IT sector that we have. The tax exemption on exports of IT products is there till 2025. There's only 5% sales tax in the technology specialized zones. We have more than 3,000 companies, active companies registered with the Pakistan Software Export Board. It's 100% foreign ownership is allowed, 100% repatriation of profits is allowed. The voice traffic for the call center is legalized. So there is a visa facilitation center in place for investors in the IT sector. So the potential in the sector is that there's low-cost skilled workforce available for the IT. We have an English-speaking workforce. We have 10 plus IT universities in Baluchistan. This shows the potential that is there, and the opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities for startup financing, In fact, this is one of the area that our partners who have helped us organize this event as well. The 92 Capital and Investor Forum from the Jumpstart is the area that we've been working together with them as well. There is space for the information technology parks. In fact, the government of Baluchistan has recently approved one IT park at the capital city of the Quetta, and that is also up for the. We welcome any investor that would be interested in establishing that and managing it. Mining and mineral sector of Baluchistan is. We have more than 92 different types of minerals that have already been identified and are available in Baluchistan. The map just shows a glimpse of the numbers that we have at the Sandak copper and gold. We have 412 million tons of copper and gold, this estimated figure. The Chagi iron deposit is more than 250 million tons of it. And for the coal, we have more than 200 million tons of coal already identified. The same goes for the chromite, fluoride, and we even have certain rare earth metals as well. And it's a very easy process to for the investors to come in and invest in the mineral sector of the Baluchistan. There are a few different types of license. The reconnaissance license, through which when it's granted, the investors can have a search rights for area of hundreds or to 10,000 square kilometer, where they can search for a mineral, and then for a year period of 2 years. Once it's identified, then the exploration license is issued, which is for a period of 3 years. Once it's explored, then the investor will have the opportunity to retain that lease, to retain that area which is already leased to them for a period of 2 years till they find financing or partners for basically mining on the large scale. And then the large scale and the small scale mining licenses are issued from a period of 10 to 30 years, depending on the business plan submitted by the investors. We also have small scale prospecting license for a period of 2 years. In the mining and mineral, just few numbers that shows the potential that this sector has in Baluchistan. We have more than 75 million tons of iron ore, 100 billion tons of onyx, marble and granite, which is at some sources considered as unlimited source of onyx, marble and granite. We have 50 million tons of sulfur, 26 million plus tons of lead and zinc, and 186 billion tons of coal. These are the identified figures. The Sandak copper gold project is worth more than $350 million, which is already operational, and it's being the extraction is being done by the MCC China, Metallurgical Corporation of China. They have been granted a lease of 10 years. The opportunities in the mining sector, as we've seen, there is a huge potential for mining of every kind of mineral. Baluchistan is blessed with a numerous number of minerals. So mining using modern technology and techniques, there's a huge space for that. Right now, the mining is happening, but it's on the basically on the individual scale, on the smaller scale is happening. For the large scale mining, there's huge potential and scope. There's space for the growth. There are a lot of processing plants, the space for the processing plants in the value addition in the mining. Also, there are coal washing plants with the huge reserves of coal there. With the coal washing, there's huge space for investment in the coal washing plants. There is opportunity for thermal power station. It can be near to or next to the coal fields of Baluchistan. The coal field and coal and the chromite are the two minerals in which the level of advancement, certain level of advancement has already been achieved in Baluchistan, and there are a number of national and foreign investors already present in this sector. So it's very easy to come up with the thermal power station projects, as the extraction part is already very developed. There is scope for cement manufacturing plant. And recently also, just a couple of years ago, a new cement plant has come up in Baluchistan with the DG Cement. It's already operational, it's functioning. There is still a lot of opportunity for more cement plants to be established. The next sector I'll cover is the energy and power sector. Again, just a few numbers. We have the world's largest wind corridor at the Nokandi area within Baluchistan. We have the highest average solar radiation in the world. We have more than 80,000 acres have been allocated for Oil City next to Gwadar. This is an area where the Saudi Aramco company also is establishing its refinery, and we've signed an agreement of worth more than $10 billion US. There's huge scope scope in the power generation. We already have highest FDI in Baluchistan is in the power generation sector. Even in overall in Pakistan, the highest FDI is in the power sector, and it's approximated at around $1 billion. And Aramco refinery already mentioned. We have around $9 billion MOU we signed with Saudi Arabia government for establishment of Aramco refinery, which is at Pasni, which is a part of the Gwadar, basically, it's next to Gwadar. We have another Pak Arab refinery coming up at Gadani, which is next to the Hub Special Economic Zone, and it's very near to Karachi, the economic hub of the country. This is worth more than $10 billion. We already have a 3,000 megawatt power plant operational at HUBCO, again next to the Hub Special Economic Zone. And we have signed certain agreements with South Korea as well for establishment of solar power plant. Pakistan has unveiled its first alternate and renewable energy policy just last month, in which they have given generous tax facilities to the investors. It's open competitive bidding for the lowest tariff and technology transfer. It's very transparent and very competitive. The goal of the government, the vision of the government is to become 20% renewable by 2025 and 30% by 2030. Currently, we stand at only 5%. This shows the scope, the gap that is there as per the current scenario and the vision that the government has. So there is huge potential and space for investment in the renewable sector. The aim is to reduce the tariff to almost 4 cents only. There are different mechanisms in place for B2B and B2G agreements for the investors. There is 0% tax on the renewable equipment, for the equipment used for the power plants related to the renewable energy. This map shows the solar radiation of the different parts of the country, and as we can see, the Baluchistan, which we said with one of the highest solar radiation part, it's the same, the mineral rich area on the basically the western part of the province. So this shows the potential that is there for the solar renewable energy, and this map shows the wind potential, and this the mark I mentioned already with one of the world's largest wind corridor we have. This map shows that wind corridor. It goes all the way to the capital city, Quetta, and it's near to the Nokandi it goes. In the energy and power sector, there are a lot of opportunities in the solar power generation, in concentrated solar power generation, in small hydel power generation, for the wind power plants, even tidal power plants, because we have more than 700 kilometer coastline. Next, I'll shed some light on the agriculture and livestock. This is the main source of livelihood in the province at the moment. Baluchistan produces more than 83% of the total apple production of the country. We cover 92% production of the almonds of the overall country. The 51% plums of the country come from Baluchistan. 91% of the total apricot production, 71% of the total pomegranate production, 98% of the Pakistan's grape production is from Baluchistan. That's why it's considered to be the fruit basket of the country. Pakistan is the 6th largest producer of the dates and the 3rd largest exporter of the dates, and more than half of all these dates come from Baluchistan. Basically, we contribute around 70% of the total date production. We have 5 major and 25 minor agroecological zones for cultivating 71 plus kind of field crops, fruits and vegetables. We have 11.1 million acre feet flood water available for runoff farming. There are more than 120,000 tons of dry fruit exports happening from Baluchistan. We have fertile soil, and in Baluchistan we can have every kind of crops, fruits, and with the number of dams already coming in and number of dams recently established, there is a lot of area land available for agri farming, for corporate farming, for the large scale farming. Specifically mention, I would like to mention the Kachi Canal, which would add more than almost 1 lakh hectare of land for agriculture purposes. Also, we have Mirani Dam. It's in the Turbat district next to Gwadar, again very close to Gwadar. It has added also around 100,000 acres of land for agri farming right next to the dam. Again, as mentioned, the opportunities in this are for the fertilizer and pesticide industry. There is a lot of scope for the cold storage, packaging, for the value addition, for the fruit processing, for the farm service machinery, for tunnel farming, for corporate farming. And there is a lot of skilled workforce available for in this sector, because more than half of the province population is directly or indirectly engaged with agriculture and livestock. Coming to the livestock, Baluchistan contributes to 41% of the total camel production of the country. Around 48% of the sheep production of the country is from Baluchistan, and 22% of the goat production is from Baluchistan. These figures are from the formal economy. We do have a huge nomadic population as well. Those numbers have not been included in this. So assuming if we include those numbers as well, so this percentage will increase further. We have 97% land of the province is classified as the rangeland. And as I mentioned, more than 50%, this accurate figure is around 70% population is directly or indirectly involved with the livestock sector. And the livestock contributes to the 41% of the province total agriculture output value. There are a lot of facilities available. The livestock sector is comparatively the most developed sector, one of the most developed sectors in the province. We have more than 100 veterinary hospitals. We have a lot of more than 800 civil veterinary dispensaries. We have animal breeding centers, human production units, and there are disease investigation labs across the province. For the opportunities, there is a lot of opportunities for the fodder production, for the slaughterhouses and cold storage, for the refrigeration of the meat, the cold meat, the export of the meat, the hide and skin processing, the milk pasteurization, the dairy and the byproducts, and we are right next to it. We are in very close proximity with the Gulf region. With from the Gwadar, it's like we can see the lights of the Oman with the naked eye. It shows the close proximity that we have with these GCC countries, and these are the countries which the biggest demand where is of the agri and the livestock products, and so there is a huge potential for the halal meat export. And there it is, and there's for the commercial. One of the opportunity is the commercial breeding and the halal meat export. It's globally the halal meat industry is already worth $80 billion. It shows the huge potential that this sector has, and Pakistan unfortunately ranks right now. It has a very meager share in it, but there is this shows also this gap that is there that can be covered by the investor, by the business community. Gwadar Port also has, like I mentioned, is the access to the Middle Eastern and North African Asian markets. From the province, any investment in the livestock sector, it has direct access to the MENA region. Again, with the fisheries and coastal development, Baluchistan has a coastline of 750 kilometer long coastline, which constitutes around 73% of the overall coastline of the country. Contrary to this, we contribute to only 34% of the total fish product catch. This shows the gap that is there. So with the 73% coastline, we are producing only 34% of the fish production. So there's huge gap in this, which can be tapped by the investors. The quality of the fish and the quality of the catch from the coast in Baluchistan can be assessed by the fact that more than 80% of the total fish catch from the province is of export quality and is exported. There's huge demand for the fish catch from Baluchistan in the foreign countries. These are certain figures. In 2018, there was 0.15 billion ton of fish catch in 2019. We have more than 38 landing sites in place, and there are 36 plus identified species of fish on the coastline of Baluchistan. We have a population of more than 70,000 fishermen population. So it shows the availability of the skilled workforce in this sector as well. We have under process at the moment a fisheries specific special economic zone as well. Like I mentioned, for the IT sector, IT park as well, there is this huge opportunity for the foreign investors to come in and and have a fisheries sector specific special economic zone on the coastline. There is no special economic zone related for the fisheries at the moment in the whole country. So there is this huge potential for having one. This map is showing the coastline of the Baluchistan. It's more than 700 kilometers long. These are few of the fish species that are found on the coastline of the Baluchistan. For opportunities, I already mentioned the special economic zone that is there. We have for the fish processing and storage plant, the value addition for the packing and for refrigerating and the cold packaging for the export purposes. There are opportunities for the fish hatchery, and there is a lot of potential for boat manufacturing as well. I'll cover the certain parts in the tourism sector as well for the boat manufacturing. We have a lot of investors coming in who are interested in bringing in basically ferry services from Karachi to Gwadar and all across the coastline. The coastline is right next to Karachi. It basically is a continuation of the same coastline that is coming from Karachi, which has a population of around 25 million and has the people who have purchasing power as well, the people who have the money to spend. So for the tourism purposes also, there are a lot of opportunities. The Gidani ship-breaking yard we have, Pakistan was among the world's 3 best ship-breaking yards we had, and it was spread around the 10-kilometer area. It's still there. It has more than 132 ship-breaking units, and we have a capacity to break up to 125 ships of all sizes. And it used to provide an employment of more than 30,000 workers, and this shows the number of skilled workforce that we have in the shipbreaking. This business is quite thriving even now as well, but still to mechanize this and to bring in automation, to bring in technology, there's huge scope in the shipbreaking sector as well on the coast. Year 2020 has been declared as the year of blue economy by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. This shows the seriousness of the government, the focus that they have towards the blue economy, with covering the shipbreaking, covering the fisheries part, covering the coastal development part, covering the beach, the coastal tourism as well. It covers almost everything. For the tourism, we have in Baluchistan, we have areas, very hot areas as well, freezing cold areas as well. We have deserts as well, deserts as well, and we have juniper, one of the world's oldest juniper forests as well. We have a coastline as well. We have beautiful virgin beaches which can be developed and which can be the future tourism destinations. We have a very beautiful coastal highway. Just a look of it, it crosses across all the way along the beach to the Gwadar from Karachi. There are a lot of opportunities in the tourism sector for the hotel industry, the resorts and recreational parks, for the food chains, for international brands to come in, for water parks, for the entertainment centers, for across the coastline. And the government of Baluchistan also recently has completely operationalized, and it's made its coastal development authority fully operational to facilitate all kind of investments and projects on the coastline. So there is opportunity for the recreational theme parks. We already have a lot of parties coming in due to COVID recently. There was certain the overall progress became a bit slow, but now the things are normalizing again. So hopefully the activities will start again very soon. We have there are opportunities for the recreational theme park. The government of Baluchistan will provide land for all such kind of projects. We have the policy in place for providing land for all such projects on the lease basis. That too also on a very nominal cost. One other sector that I must mention, the urban development. The present government of Pakistan has come up with a vision of streamlining the overall urban development of the country. Our population is expanding very fast, and so the government has put in place a mechanism to have smart cities plan, to have proper master planning for all the cities, and the future development will be according to those master plans. The government has also announced a very lucrative package for the construction sector, where they have exempted all the taxes on the construction. So up to 90% of the taxes have been exempted Also, a lot of incentives, other incentives are being provided by the government for the construction sector. There's this huge scope for construction, specifically in the Gwadar and the Quetta, the capital city of the province. The Gwadar smart city will be hopefully the third largest city of the Pakistan by the economic output. We have projects that include man-made island, central business district, and Pakistan's tallest buildings. And we have 4 mega desalination plants that are to be installed in Gwadar for a cost of more than $1 billion US. One of the desalination plants has already been completed. The construction relief package already mentioned. The government of Pakistan, under its scheme to build 5 million affordable housing units, they came up with an overall policy of facilitating the whole construction sector, for which they're giving a lot of incentives as well. There are a lot of opportunities for foreign companies to establish residential, commercial societies as well as high-rise buildings and to engage in the construction sector. Pakistan's second largest FDI is in the FDI to Pakistan is in the construction sector, and it's approximated at more than $700 million US. We still have huge areas of underdeveloped land, and there are underdeveloped urban centers which are open for the projects under the urban regeneration. Government of Baluchistan also is undertaking a few projects under the urban regeneration scheme. We have a huge workforce, urban as well as a rural workforce available in the construction sector. With the population growth expected to rise at a rate of 2.1% annually, this can be easily assessed the growth that the potential that the construction sector, the urban construction sector has. To highlight a few other projects, we have the waste management. There is potential for the waste management and recycling plant. There is a lot of opportunity for the Quetta is a city which is with a population of more than almost 3 million people. There's a potential for investment in the waste management and recycling plant. The same has already been done in the other metropolitan of the country, so it can be easily done in Quetta as well. The government has special incentives in place as well and there's special facilitation mechanism in place for all the investors coming into the basically sector, urban development sector, as well as the associated sectors like the waste management, recycling plants. There are a lot of opportunities in the logistics and the supply chain mechanism with the Gwadar and the Gwadar becoming the new economic hub of the country. With the CPEC of more than 2,000 kilometer route being established, there is a huge scope for logistics, for transportation, for advancement in the current transport system that's being used. Right now, it's monopoly of the local trucks and for the goods transfer. So there's huge scope and there's huge space for the corporate and the big level transport companies to come in. We recently in Pakistan, the National Electric Vehicle Policy has been announced. It's under the government vision of going green. So the import duty on the EV vehicles have been reduced to just 1% as compared to almost 110% on the non-EV vehicles. There's scope for electronic vehicle production for the EV buses, trucks, and as I mentioned, especially in the Baluchistan, the railway network is comparatively limited, so there is all the dependencies upon the local transport. They have a bit monopoly when it comes to the passenger transportation as well as the goods transportation. There's huge scope in this sector with Baluchistan, with its huge size, with the distances that are there. With such an efficient mechanism in place with electronic vehicles and all, it can reduce the cost significantly. And there's huge space for investment in this sector. There's certain incentives that are given under the EV policy. There's only 1% sales tax or GST on the electronic vehicles. There's only 1% import duty on the charging equipment. There are, for the EV charging stations, the electricity tariffs have been reduced significantly as compared to the normal tariffs. There can be, State Bank will offer lower rate of financing for the EV manufacturer. The financing aspect is also available there. There's a scheme of the government vision is to have charging stations on all motorways at a distance of 15 to 30 kilometers, with just more than 2,000 kilometers being built just under the China-Pakistan economic corridor. It shows the huge space that is there even just for the number of charging stations. So there's this huge scope in this sector as well. I think that would be all for. I think I've covered most of the sectors, but in case I've missed anything, I would welcome any questions from all the participants. Thank you.
Shaista, your mic is mute, so we can't hear you.
I'm sorry for that. Thank you, Firmansa, for the very comprehensive presentation where you have covered in detail all the sectors of interest for potential investors. We welcome those who are joining us now in the studio. Mr. Rupani Saab, thank you for coming. Murad Ajani and Said Sheikh will join us also shortly. So we have a few questions, Firman Saab. I think the first one that we have from Salim Tour is, he wants to know about the ready projects in Gwadar sector. I think that you have covered already in your presentation. So we will move to the next one. From Raza Merchant, who is based in Houston, he got in touch with the consulate and he wishes to set up a manufacturing of POS, which is point of sale system. And he wanted to know if he can do that in the Gwadar free trade zone.
We do have a mechanism in place. We already have few companies working for providing the services for the POS. State Bank has regulations in place for companies investing in the POS systems. And yes, we would welcome, and we would even though it's being dealt by the State Bank, but as the lead focal agency for investment in Baluchistan, we would do our best to facilitate them for investment in Gwadar in the POS sector as well.
Great, thank you for that. Anyone in the studio would like to ask any question? Jensen Chen or Han, Tarek, do we have anything from your side?
I'm Jensen Chen. I'm the Senior Director of Asian Australia Oceania from the Great Houston Partnership. Great Houston Partnership is one of the largest world chamber of commerce, and also we are a local development promoter. The trade between Pakistan and Houston, and also promoted the FDI. And I would thank you for Consul General Hashmi and also Miss Boyat invite me to attend these meetings. I think, and also because we have been many events together with the Consul General, so I know a little bit about Pakistan. And also I'm very impressed on today's presentation by Baluchistan, Mr. Zakun, and the CEO of the Board of Investment Trade. I think the presentation is very good, and also because I learned it at a very good location and well organized and well designed, and government pay a lot of attention, give a lot of incentives and good systems. And also I will see there are many various industrial sections. So I will expect there are more trade and investment between Houston and that areas. Okay, and also may I also take this opportunity to acknowledge Mohammed Said Shaka, and the chairman of the Karachi and Houston Sister City Association, because he had continually promoted the trade and investment between Houston and Pakistan. I think this event is very good. We hope you have a more event, then let the people in Houston company can learn more about Pakistan. We hope we can take this up at the time. There are a lot of USA supply chain in moving around. This will be a good location to promote. But thank you very much.
Can I ask you the questions? What is a direct the amount of the trade between Houston and Baluchistan? Do we have the number for this? It's like Houston itself, not between United States and Baluchistan, but just in Houston.
You mean the state to province trade, like state of Texas to province of Balochistan trade? I can definitely share those statistics with you. I do have, under our jurisdiction, there are 11 states. We do have statistics for those. I can share the sectors with you, as well as the overall picture of trade statistics. I will definitely get in touch with Hannah.
Direct contact here in Houston, that if there's any needs of the product that the export from in that region. So who's the direct person that we can reach on? Because there's a lot of the companies and manufacturing companies as well as the trade companies that they are looking for the product.
मेरा नेट बंद हो गया completely. अगले आधे घंटे से मैं कुछ भी नहीं कर पा रहा. अभी तुम लोग शोर ना करो, मैं यहाँ बैठ रहे हैं सारे मेरी वजह से.
In Pakistan, from Baluchistan, we have the CEO of Baluchistan Investment and Trade who presented right away, Farman Konsa. We will share his contact details with you for Pakistan-related queries. But here in Houston, the Consul General of Pakistan, Mr. Abrar Hussain Hashmi, unfortunately, he's having connectivity issues at the moment. He is trying to connect again. But his contacts are with Jensen as well as me. We can get you in touch with him and myself. I am the Trade and Investment Officer here at Commercial Section of Houston. So we are the contact person here in Houston for any investment-related queries that you have or any other queries of interest that you have. I will get in touch with you, Orhan, after this presentation to share other details.
There is a street called Howing Street. That's in the Pakistan town in Houston. There are so many Pakistan traders, small traders, import-export in that area. It also brings a lot of the economy impact to Houston areas.
Yes, Jensen, we have that under our observation. Thank you for highlighting that. So we did receive two questions. One is from Zulfikar Sab. He's an investor and a trader here in Houston. And he sent me a WhatsApp saying that in the agricultural sector, he has done some project in Karachi and he's looking for agriculture land on lease to grow high value export fruits and vegetables in Balochistan. What he has to do to start the process?
You just have to contact us. We already have land lease policy in place, which covers the land for the corporate agriculture reasons as well. You just have to get in touch with us. Our contact details will be shared by the consulate as well as the end of the presentation. We'll share the details. Just get in touch and we will ensure that he is facilitated in every possible manner.
Right. Couldn't the comments section, the questions in the comment section are not visible on the sidebar. Could you help us with seeing those?
Okay, so from Ansab, the major one is Kamran. He's from Spain. He's asking about the actual, the importing and setting up the hotels and the motels around the actual, around the coastal line. The equipment they're going to be importing in order to actually build those hotels or the motels or whatever the structure they're going to be building over there. Is there any tax on it if they use that?
It falls basically the establishment of the hotels and the resorts. It is pretty much covered under the construction sector incentives that have recently been announced by the federal government. And as I mentioned in my presentation as well, other than the cement and the steel, all other items have been exempted from all the taxes. So the tax reduction of more than 90% has been given to the construction sector. This construction sector includes the establishment of hotels and tourist resorts as well, till the phase of which where they fall within the construction definition. And afterwards, of course, with the other equipments, there are certain duties in place. But if any investor would like to come in and invest at large scale, we can even get them special exemptions as well.
Another question, same person asking, Kamran, is there any import duty on trucks? Because it's been perceived that whatever you import, the vehicles, there is a 200% duty on it. So is there any special programs that if they bring in their trucks, which is going to be used in transportation and all that, can they be exempted from the taxes or duty?
The government of Pakistan enacted an automotive development policy. It was in year 2018. That was to basically encourage the local production, and the aim was for the import substitution in the automotive sector, including buses, trucks, small vehicles. So there are a lot of incentives for basically having an assembly line or having a manufacturing plant of the trucks in Pakistan. That is there. I think that's even more lucrative than just importing the thing. There are taxes in place on the imports. That is to basically encourage the local production.
There are tons of comments, and they are majorly not about the actual questions, but they are like really commending your efforts, especially whatever the time has been passed in past few years, that Balochistan has been suffering a lot. So everybody is saying is just really commendable effort, and the presentation is very comprehensive. So session is going amazing. It's just like tons of comments, very positive ones. And I'm really glad to see that. So any comment on that from your end?
I would like to thank all the participants, and I'd like to thank the organizers and all the participants for listening so patiently, for giving this opportunity to present the opportunities that the Baluchistan has, the potential that the Baluchistan has. And I look forward to having more such sessions. Hopefully, once the corona situation normalizes, we will have physical roadshows and visits to different countries as well as the investors. In the meantime, we would welcome all our the listeners and the interested parties to get in touch with us. We don't even have to wait for the physical roadshows. We will be more than happy, and we'll be more than willing to facilitate them to start with the processes. So by the time the situation normalizes and they can travel, the basic groundwork would have already been completed.
Another very important question, just quickly. So they are concerned about insuring it because the investors, especially the overseas investors, when they come in, they bring in the investment, and then, I mean, especially we are asking for Gwadar to or invest in Gwadar, rather. So when they come in, obviously there's a this facility to insure every single thing when you actually do the business. So you have like employer's insurance, you have like equipment insurance, you have a breakage insurance, and all that. What sort of facilities available in Pakistan and Balochistan to insure when they actually bring in the investment, to insure that investment?
Pakistan's for the year 2018-19, the insurance premium figure back then, when the dollar was at the lower rate, was around $2 billion annually, the premium collection. This shows how well the insurance industry in the Pakistan is doing, how deeply they are penetrated in the market. We have specialized products in place for every kind of industry, for oil and gas, for transportation, and even for livestock, crops, insurance as well. The products are in place. We have more than 40 general insurance companies operational in Pakistan, and they're very well regulated as well, and they have very well reinsurance arrangements in place with world-renowned reinsurance like AIG in Germany or Swiss Re, AIG in USA, and we have Allianz in the Germany and Swiss Re in Switzerland. With such huge reinsurers at the back, it shows the confidence of the overall international insurance sector in the insurance companies of Pakistan. In fact, AIG in the USA have a branch office in Pakistan as well.
Thank you very much, Farman. You have been lovely in a sense that you have gone not only on the investments, trade opportunities, and potential of Balochistan. In fact, you've covered everything, and it really covered all those areas, even which we wanted to cover. And thanks a lot for a very comprehensive and captivating presentation. Now, we've also been joined by two more panelists, Mr. Nasruddin Rupani. He is president of World Gold Diamonds, and also is very much into philanthropy, and he's also chairman Rupani Foundation as well as Ibn Sina. Mr. Saeed Sheikh is president of Houston Karachi Sister Association. I'm sorry that we have disturbed your Labor Day weekend, and it was a holiday, and all of you had to come to the place. And likewise, I have Mr. Urhan Usman, who is president of Texas Turkish Chamber of Commerce. If he likes to make any comments, he has been very patiently hearing this whole presentation, and I'm sure it has made some sense to him that he has been listening through. Mr. Jensen Chen has already made his comments, and Mr. Tariq Chalik, if I am pronouncing your last name correct. Sir, if you could, in your order, if you are there and want to comment, ask any question, we here at the Consulate are here to respond to your questions, but this is a good opportunity while Farman Zakoon is in the chair, he can too respond. Over to you. Any one of you wants to make any comments? We will begin with that. And there are questions in the comment bar also. There are a few questions which we will be answering in a while.
I would like to say.
Okay, Tariq Chalik, sir. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank to all of you, Consul General, of the speakers, presenters, who is giving a very deep information of investment opportunity in Pakistan as well as Baluchistan. First of all, I would kindly ask you whether you can share this presentation with us in a platform that we can inform all of our members through our website or by email. That's the first thing I would like to make a request. And the second thing, oftentimes, when investors go to another country, in this case Pakistan, they have to spend a year or two or a few years in that specific country. That also brings the family issue, meaning by they need education, and they also would like to know more about safety and crime rate. Is there any way you can address the education opportunities for the families as the investors when they go to Pakistan? What are the options they have? And can you also a little mention about safety and crime rate in that
Very
region?
important question. Yeah, I loved it. Thank you.
Should I answer a bit and then I leave it to Farman to chip in? Two things which we have done recently, and you must have seen a statement coming out from the State Department wherein they've said that significant improvement has come in Pakistan's security outlook. Secondly, Mr. Chalik, there's no requirement for a stay in Pakistan. You can right away start your business. You can have JVs. There are many vehicles. For international investors, we don't need them to be resident in the country. The only thing is they have to do registration, set up their company, and also for taxes, we have avoidance of double taxation with certain countries. I am sure of we have one agreement with USA and that also with Turkey and many other countries. In fact, Shaista can shed light on it. I think we have almost 44 countries where we have avoidance of double taxation. So you pay tax in one place only. With respect to security situation, as you've seen that after almost 13 years, Islamabad is back as being declared as a friendly station by United Nations for its personnel, and it has been followed by earlier, in fact, Belgium, Germany, and few other countries have also brought back their families in Islamabad and diplomatic, because I was dealing with that matter, and I'm sure it has an impact on overall security situation. Lastly, our visa regime and investment regimes are very easy, but I'll leave that question to Shaista and Farman if they can answer a bit on those two parts.
Thank you, Russell, for answering of the question, sir. As the security part was mostly covered in your answer, I would just like to add that, as was mentioned in my presentation as well, Pakistan last year was declared as the among the top 20 tourist destinations, and it was declared by one of the New York-based magazines. And the factors that were on the basis of which the study was carried out, it had the facilities for as well as the security factor was also considered. So this shows the confidence of in fact, the international organizations about the improved security situation in the country. Coming to the other part where you said about the sharing the presentation, I would take this opportunity to highlight the fact that we, in fact, at the Baluchistan Board of Investment, we have compiled a very comprehensive Baluchistan investment guide that is available on our website as well, and the contact details will be shared at the end of the presentation by the consulate. In fact, this investment guide is now being translated also into different languages, and it was very much appreciated by the multiple foreign investors and the various foreign investors, and it's now being translated into Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, and Turkish as well. This can be downloaded from our website. It has all the data related to the investment potential and opportunities in the Baluchistan province. In the next phase, in the next version of this investment guide, we will also be adding all the legal and the regulatory compliances that are to be complied with for starting and operating a business in Baluchistan. So that also will be shared with you all very soon, hopefully.
Excellent.
And Nasruddin Rupani sir, over to you. And if you want to make comments, especially with respect to minerals in Pakistan, you have a lot of experience in especially jewelry and precious stones. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Council General Abrar, and thank you for hosting this program. And I think I want to thank the entire team, and especially this presentation was very heartwarming, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So great work on presentation. And I would like to request Khurram that if you can give us a copy of this to present it to other investors, as I am very much involved in bringing investors into Pakistan. So this will be really a good presentation to do to all the investors that I'm planning to bring into Pakistan. So thank you very much for this great presentation. To answer Mr. Shai's question regarding Pakistan, thousands of, I would say, private schools for the educational quality is internationally standard schools in Pakistan, and several different, I would say, international private institutions are providing the services in Pakistan. So education is level at private school is international level. So I would not worry about the children's education. Thank you again, Councillor Saab, for giving me the opportunity to talk about gemstone. As you mentioned, that today, I would say, world largest reservoirs of gemstone and mineral is, I would say, Pakistan and Central Asia. And Pakistan itself is a huge reservoir of gemstone. So I have been working for almost about 15 years in training the locals in trying to create a cottage industry, especially in KPK and GB. So these are a huge opportunity. And currently, we are now working with the federal government to create a policy for the gemstones. So as soon as the gemstone policy is in place, we, inshallah, will be able to make headways and find investors into gemstone. So I see a huge opportunity in mining and of gemstone, and especially cutting and polishing and jewelry. Like I was sharing with Council General today, best cutters of the world are based in Pakistan. If you know that in Rolex watches and Rado watches, when you see those small gemstone placed in those dials of watches of Rolex, they are made in Pakistan. We have the best jam cutter of the world in Pakistan today. So gemstone cutting and polishing can be a huge industry in Pakistan, and there's a huge potential of exporting jewelry. Today, jewelry making for our traditional jewelry is really exported to around the world, but we can have a huge potential of international jewelry. But I see a huge potential. Thank you again, Councillor Saab, for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Nasruddin Rupani. Thanks a lot. And now over to you, Mr. Said Sheikh. You will also introduce a few of the participants who have joined us on Facebook Live. Over to you, Mr. Said Sheikh. He has also helped us in putting together this program. Mr. Said Sheikh, unmute yourself.
Said Saab, we cannot hear you very well. You are not muted, but we cannot hear you. I think something wrong with your mic or something.
It seems so. Okay, in the meanwhile, once we fix this issue, there are three things, if you allow, Farman, I can go over. The few things which you have mentioned, I think we need to go down and further elaborate on, not now, maybe in the form of some write-ups. For example, minerals. As you said, there are 92 minerals, and there are rare minerals in Baluchistan, and there's no doubt, we all know. And there are huge projects undergoing. So that is one where people would be interested. The second is agriculture. There's a huge potential. It is really food basket, and we know for fact in Pakistan. And I love the apple coming out from Baluchistan. That's the second area. The third is perhaps the coastal tourism, where you mentioned, of course, we again all know that it's a pristine coastal area of 745 kilometers, and on how to develop it. And is there any scheme? For example, you mentioned recreational theme parks, the transportation, and many other such schemes within developing coastal tourism. I know Prime Minister Imran Khan has remarked on a number of occasions, and as you mentioned in the presentation also, as the blue economy. That's the fourth area. And fifth could be urban development, I think, and renewable energy. So if you could have these 5-6 areas coming from Houston, I can tell you there is a huge potential. And as you mentioned, one is the business parks. That's one thing which is also would be of interest to all the investors and all those who are living there in the states. With these 6 areas, we can then pick up one by one, and we can make headways with respective businessmen, investors, and those who can benefit and also partner with local investors in Pakistan or even government. So if the problem has been resolved with the mic of Mr. Said Sheikh, we will go over to him. And then there are a few questions here in the bar, and we would like to answer a few of those. Over to you, Mr. Said Sheikh.
Can you listen to me now?
Yes, now you're audible.
Okay. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to commend the effort of Baluchistan BOI. Very well. Honorable Consul Saab and Ms. Shaista at the commercial section. Thank you for leading another effort to get something for Pakistan. And as you know, we are working since long time with Mr. Jensen Shan and hosting many delegations at his office and here in Houston. Now we are in a different world, and CG Sam knows very well. So this is a great initiative that now we have promoted Pakistan in a, in such a pandemic time as well. I want to thank my colleagues at the Turkish Chamber of Commerce, the World Chamber of Commerce, and also would like to acknowledge the participation and the interest of few important GHRA members. They are also former board members as well. Mr. Sher Ali, Mr. Asif Dawa, Mr. Shahid, Moknajia. Really, all the opportunities which were discussed will open many doors, and I will make sure that we will follow from our end to take this presentation to all other chambers as well. And I would like to thank Tariq and Mr. Farhan for giving this idea to take this to the other chambers and also putting on their social media and the website. And I'm looking forward to work on this with Mr. Jensen Chen because he is the one who has a lot of chamber of commerce and this Houston, which is the energy capital of the world, into his fold. Thank you very much.
Few of those who must be watching us, Mr. Asad Siddiqui, President, Seven Stars International, I think Mr. Tariq Majid, Mr. Sher Ali Haider Ali, and Mr. Fayaz Merchant and Raza Merchant, both father and son, they are interested, and I think Shasta has already made a question. Farman, over to one question which is coming in the comments bar. Of course, you've been commended a lot for your very comprehensive and informative presentation. And there is, I think, attraction that you will also be putting it up or somewhere so that many people can benefit from this presentation. One question which people often ask us, of course, is a general nature question, but mostly the question is, how can we ensure protection of our investment in Pakistan? So can you give us some of those hints how the protection and repatriation of profit works?
So first of all, thanks to all of the respected members who have used such kind words and such encouraging and kind words. About coming to your questions about the protection of the repatriation of the money and the protection of the investors' funds in Pakistan, I mentioned in that presentation as well. We have a law in place already that provides protection for the ownership of the businesses, for the repatriation of the funds, as well as against every kind of nationalization or change in the government policies. We also have certain insurance products in place for such kind of change in the government, in the regulatory regime or the government policies. So there are products that protects against such kind of changes.
Thank you. Anything, Khurram, if you are, there are a few things which you may have sifted through.
Ji, Abrarsa, I have a couple of questions.
From Sheikh Awais Saab, sir. Sajjad Chaudhary from GTS and Nictel LLC Awais Sheikh Saab. He wanted to know if he and his partner can invest in power sector, power plants. I know from their introduction that they have been doing such work in Baluchistan already. They gave me some details of their project that I can share with Farman Saab later. But at the moment, they want to know if they can proceed ahead with such a proposal by giving us a proposal for power plant investment in Baluchistan.
Yes, we do welcome every kind of investment in the energy sector, but I would like to clarify one thing. In the renewable energy sector, up to 50 megawatts, all the plants are being dealt by the provincial government, for which we have mechanism SOPs in place, as well as for the plants higher than the 50 megawatt production. Though they are dealt by the federal government, but we provide facilitation, the Board of Investment and the Energy Department of Baluchistan. We have full mechanism in place to facilitate the investors to get their processes done through the federal government as well. And as I mentioned in my presentation as well, is power sector is the sector which has the highest FDI coming in Pakistan. So by virtue of that, the processes, the mechanisms have evolved completely as compared to the other sectors. They are more evolved, and the mechanisms that are in place are very investment friendly, and they're pro investors. And we will welcome them to get in touch with us. We'll help them throughout the process.
Thank you, sir. I see that we have a lot of comments from different parts of the world and also from the US, which are basically about how to initiate the process. We have one question in trucks and spare parts transportation sector. Similarly, we have a few other sectors highlighted by the participants. What we will do is we will go through these comments later. Also, I want the public, the audience to know that we will sift through the comments and get in touch with you about your queries. Anything that you want to ask in specific, kindly direct your queries to the email address which has been scrolled on the screen, as well as I would, for your information, say that as well. It is tia.houston@commerce.gov.pk. We are going to forward your questions as well as analyze the question at the Consulate General of Pakistan, and with our input in it, we are going to find you the answers. Anything that you want to need about Balochistan, about the FTZs, about anything else that you're interested in, please let us know at tia.houston@commerce.gov.pk. I understand that I had to do that towards the end of the program, but there are a lot of questions and comments coming about who to get in touch with. So I would just ask you to kindly note that down from the screen. Thank you.
It's also displayed on the screen, so we're continuously keeping it there. So please note it down, whoever is watching it. This is the email address where Shaista can actually respond to you with the right answers. Couple of questions I can bring in before we move on. Farman Saab, there is a gentleman who's asking if they are going to put some sort of like a, as we call it, like Six Flags here in America. So roller coasters, slides, water parks, all that kind of thing. So obviously they would have to actually lease the space, land, in order to put that. Is there some sort of like a space available which they can lease on the coastal line right now?
Like I mentioned, we have a coastline of more than 700 kilometers. And most of this beach is, we call it the virgin beach, and it's unexplored, it's there, it's available. To further facilitate the investors or to make the place a more happening place, in the recent budget, the provincial government announced 7 to 8 projects throughout the coastline, which will have different small parks with the certain facilities for the stopovers. That was basically to facilitate, like almost after every 100 to 50 to 100 kilometers, there would be a stopover and layoff area. And so there is space between all these stops. There are spaces available for every kind of these water sports activities, water parks, and we would gladly help them throughout the process to with the lease of the land. And like I mentioned in my presentation as well, with the lease policy that's very lenient and that's been made in a way to especially facilitate the investors. That's why it's been even mentioned as the foreign investors, the land lease policy for the foreign investors. And the cost is very, very nominal. And the processing time is also very short. So we'll welcome them to just start the process right away, and we will help them throughout the process.
Over to you, Shaista.
Thank you very much, Farman. Thank you everyone who's joining us today and putting up all the positive comments and your queries directing to us. We will be getting in touch. I think we have pretty much covered everything that was of interest for our people here. If there is anything, Farman, we will be in touch with you from the consulate, and we will keep the interest going. So in the end, I would like to invite the Consul General of Pakistan, Mr. Abrar Hussain Hashmi, for his closing comments and conclusion of the session. Sir.
Thank you very much for a very comprehensive presentation from CEO of Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade. Shaista, thanks a lot for coordinating this whole effort. And so are everyone who is here. Khurram, thanks a lot for hosting this wonderful event and being there, and we will be connecting with you because our next event is going to be with the startups. And all of those who have joined us on holiday, special thanks, because it's a Labor Day, it's a holiday. We have taken out a lot of your time, and this event which we have organized, I think Farman has taken keen interest, and we have come up with a few key areas where I would say we will be further elaborating, as I've requested him already, that one of the things which will be of huge interest to many in Houston and the United States is, of course, the overall investment policy and then sector specific. For example, how the tourism works. And we did not talk of medical services in Pakistan. Balochistan is, of course, in need of the service, and Houston is world capital of medical services. That's another area we can perhaps add to it, alongside minerals, coastal tourism. Then we have urban development, agriculture, and minerals. So these 5 areas which have come out, this is a comprehensive presentation. Let's focus on a few areas where we can make some headway, and then pick up those projects. And I know a few of those questions which have already come to us previously, which is with respect to Gwadar's exclusive economic zone and what are the laws, and you have elaborated on it. And perhaps there would be more questions on it. And I also see our friend Syed Sharifuddin has also put up a question wherein he said that we can have something where we can immediately respond to investors' questions regarding their legal and regulatory framework. So these are few of those things which we will be getting questions on. Thank you very much, all of you who have joined us today on holiday, and those who are listening to us from far off places. It's almost deep night in Pakistan. And Mr. Jensen Chen, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mr. Tariq Chelek, for being there throughout.
Abrar Sahab, 1 second before you actually say the final words and thank everyone. We have missed one thing, which is the actual video, which is being designed and edited by the actual Baluchistan Board of Investment. So if we could actually play that before we sign off, and then we can thank.
Just 1 minute, and then of course we will also be today. Mr. Jahangir Abbas Awan, who is founder 92 Capital, he is in I think somewhere in GB. He thanks to him also. All of you, this collage which is being put together, this is of immense value, and this is going to remain as a resource. Mr. Said Sheikh, Mr. Nasruddin Rupani, and all those who are listening, thanks a lot. We will be chipping in wherever there is any information. So this is basically providing, making ourselves available to the investors, and also showcasing what Balochistan offers at the moment. And we will have many more questions, and I would request Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade to appoint a focal person for USA, and so that we have quick response from your side. Thank you very much for everyone, and especially Shaista for putting up this show, and Mr. Khurram Zubair. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Khurram. You were playing, or Farman, you were to play.
Yeah, let me actually play the video, and Farman Sahab, you can comment on the video after once it finishes, I think.
Okay.
Balochistan is an overture to great financial prospects. It is increasingly becoming a busy province of Pakistan, and the dynamics in the process are very exciting. A range of sectors with great potentials in innovative industrialization and development for higher economic prosperity advocate the true potentials of investment in Balochistan. Rapid progress in the areas of urban infrastructure and development, trade and transportation, power generation, fisheries, agriculture, livestock, and much more offer the opportunities envisioning industrial and trade development. Rich in unique culture and heritage, the people of Balochistan are embracing the waves of innovative industrialization. Balochistan is a province that is beautifully landscaped with abundant natural resources. and it now harbors the tip of the new Silk Route. It is the next favorite destination for trade to reach out to new markets. Systematic efforts are underway towards facilitating investments by addressing factors like economic compatibility, affordability, access to natural resources, availability of needed human resource, and of course, taking charge of enforced safety and protection for the greater good. From the mountainous north to the gorgeous coastal belt, accelerated uplifting of the overall region have augmented the trust in the current leadership's forward-looking, growth-oriented approach. Development and facilitation rendered by public and private sector organizations in the province are building strong grounds for a truly international trade hub in the making. Several small and large entities are being formed to provide support for the new investment climate. As a primary source of guidance for reliable investment, Board of Investment of Baluchistan invites you to initiate a provocative dialogue and discuss the competitive operational costs to expand your businesses. Having a strategic location and land of limitless resources for safe and secure investment, we welcome the proactive set of financial opportunities firsthand and experience the unparalleled hospitality of our lively people.
I guess it gives a fair idea what you were doing in the presentation, that what sort of landscape the foreign overseas investors, when they actually come in, what to expect. So it was great compilation. Thank you.
Thank you for putting that show up. It's always a good idea to see everything on the video. It shows not only that Balochistan province is beautiful, but it also gives you an idea that how much work can be done there. As you have highlighted during your presentation, one thing that we have been seeing from an investor eye is we have a lot of opportunities in Balochistan, ladies and gentlemen, that would give you the advantage, the opportunity of first mover advantage as well. As you heard Farman Sab talking about Fisheries economic zone, which is first of its kind in the country. Similarly, the Smart City project and Gwadar Port City projects. Investment in these areas could really leverage your profile and give you the first mover advantage there. With this, I would invite Farman Sab for his closing remarks and thank him again. For today's time, we understand that it is getting late in Pakistan, but we also know that BBOIT, Balochistan BOI, has been going out of their way to highlight the case of Balochistan and Pakistan in general for investors all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaista. Thank you, Khurram Saab. Thank you, Shaista. And thank you, Jangir Evan, for coordinating the whole event. And special thank you to the CG Cerebral for leading the whole event, for making it a success. I thank all the participants as well. I thank all the audience as well for such meaningful questions and for such a productive discussion at after the presentation. It will actually help us get more clarity and help us get more focused on the sectors that probably we missed in the presentation, especially with like the medical tourism and with the urban development or the business part. We will make sure that in the next sessions or in the future interactions, we shed more light or go in depth on these sectors as well. As we already said, It's our aim, it's our vision to make Baluchistan your future investment destination, and Baluchistan Board of Investment will do its best to become your partner in this journey to successfully invest in the province. We would be happy to facilitate you in every manner. Our contact details are with the consulate. We can be reached through our social media pages as well, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as our details are given on our website as well. We just need to get in touch with us, and from there on, BBUIT will do the rest on your behalf. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. We see that the Balochistan Board of Investment and Trade has answered many queries that we had been receiving for the last 3-4 months. And as Nasruddin Rupani Saab and Saeed Sheikh Saab has highlighted, that these are unusual, unprecedented times, not only for Pakistan, but for businesses all over the world. So once again, for everybody to join us today, thank you very much. And that's it for today. We will be following up on the things that we shared today, and we look forward to receive your queries related to investment in Balochistan, and we'll get back to you on those. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shaista. Thank you, Farman Saab. Everybody else, thank you, Abrar Saab. It was amazing discussion, and I could see there are a lot of comments coming in. We'll definitely refer back to them and reply those text messages which came in through the YouTube and the Facebook. And thanks everyone to actually tune in today. And inshallah, we're going to be bringing in a lot of sessions like that, in which you'll be able to actually find the opportunities, right opportunities for you guys to go into Pakistan and how to go about it. So thank you for tuning in. And inshallah, the next session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.